Hey, this is Rhino, and you're listening to the Timo and Harley Show.
Welcome to the Timo and Harley Show.
Thank you for listening to the Timo and Harley Show. I am Timo. Over there is my partner in mind crime, Mr. Ben Harley. Say hello, Harley.
What is happening, people?
Ben's second helping Harley.
Oh, second helping is right. Yes. Sometimes third.
Yeah, right. A little out of season. That's a big meal season statement. I guess like a Thanksgiving or the holidays. But Harley, when is a big meal not a good idea?
Right, exactly.
Right.
Definitely during the holidays, I'm definitely a second, third helping for sure. Yeah.
Well, you're trying to store up for the winter, right? You're trying to store up for the hibernation.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. And Tim, when it comes to chicken wings, it's all bets are off.
Yeah. You live up there in chicken wing land, don't you?
Oh, yes, I do.
Yeah.
You know, we have quite a few good chicken wing joints around here. So, you know, and I'm a kind of, well, you know, Tim, it's weird. I'm not that, you know, I'm pretty much the same kind of style, you know. I don't go too far off the beaten path, but I like me some Red Hot and butter mixed together.
Yeah.
Oh, Tim.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You put a little. I tell you what, you put a little butter and some Red Hot. Yeah. You put it in a pan, you cook it, and you sprinkle a little garlic powder on top of that, there, buddy. And then that's where you get that nice little restaurant flavor. But you got to cook the chicken wings. You got to cook them in. You got to deep fry them.
Yes.
Then as they're still sizzling, you got to put them in that boiling pan of red hot butter and garlic. And then you take them out and you allow them to dry for a second so they get that crust, that glaze over them. Mr. Ben Harley, there are hungry deep thinkers out there right now.
Yes, I know. It's 9:30 in the morning, and I'm like, oh, my stomach was just like,
There are deep thinkers right now going, Timo, you are seductive. You are a seductive one, my friend. Yes. So, Mr. Ben Harley, I got little information for you. Here's the thing. I'm kind of happy. I'm a little happy. It's in the space-time continuum in the world at large. Been kind of boring. Been a little boring. I'm good with boring. Let's keep it boring, folks. You know, so that's good.
Yes, please. Yeah.
But you know, this is a very strange thing that happened. Okay, so I was watching. Boy, what was it? I don't even remember what it was. Okay, so this is gonna be like an odd little side story, and it's something that just kind of pops up. Now, Harley, we sometimes report back in the shows. Sometimes we just speak about this between the two of us. But we'll be like reviewing a movie or something, and then Harley's like watching Matlock or something, and like 2 stars from one of the movies comes on or something like that, you know. So I'm watching this special feature thing, and I hear somebody say the word Terence Winkless. Terence Winkless. I know that name. I know that name real good, and I'm like, wait a minute, that was the director of The Nest. And I remember when we were reviewing The Nest, I said, well, this was directed by a guy, Terence Winkler. And I said, he just knocked around Hollywood a lot. And I didn't really dig too deep, but I said, I know that name. I've heard that name. Well, of course, I've heard that name, Mr. Ben Harley. He wrote The Howling.
He did, huh?
Yes.
Wow. All right.
I was watching a special feature on something completely unrelated.
Yeah.
And I was like, there's Terence Winkless. I knew his name. They said, well, you know, he wrote The Howling. I'm like, well, maybe that's why I know his name. I've seen The Howling a few times, and I read credits. There we go. So,
well, hopefully he didn't write The Howling 2 through whatever else.
I don't know, but you know what? And we've said this before the show, and it bothers me. It is basically the same producer, the same person who owns the rights to the Howling franchise. He made all those crap movies after the first one.
I don't know how, you know, and Tim, you know me, I'm you know, I like a lot of part 2s, and some of the part 2s are my favorite movies, and this, that, and the other. But like, I don't know how things could get worse and worse and worse in films. Like, you know, I think I tapped out after the marsupials. That was it for me. I was done.
The Australian one,
I tapped out hard. I mean, I've never in my life sat and was more upset to me back then, that stuff wasn't funny to me like it is now. Like now that's a good one. That would be a good Mystery Science one, or something like that. But I didn't like bad movies because they were bad that that much. Like now maybe something like The Toxic Avenger or something like that. Sure, okay, that that got me.
Right.
But like the Howling one, oh my!
Well,
God.
I was surprised too because watching that Howling 3, that marsupials, it looked to me like almost obviously as if it was produced in Australia, and then someone just stuck the title of Howling 3 on there because there was mildly a werewolf legend involved somewhere. No, that's not true. That was actually produced as a Howling movie. I'm like, man, like I'm okay with every movie being unique and every movie being like not a continuation of the previous story. I'm okay with that, but these don't even look like they were made on the same planet.
No, and that's the thing that just got me. I was like, no, all right, Tim, I take that back. Okay, so. What was the one right after the marsupials that had?
There was the one where they were in the castle. There was the circus one.
Yeah. I think I got a little bit through that one, but I don't even think I finished it or something. But I just remember thinking, "Oh my God!" Because the Howling to me is that and American Werewolf and stuff. Those are the end all be all werewolf movies. I mean, if I never got to see another werewolf movie again, and I had those two, I guess I'd be happy because Tim, you and I both know we can't hang our hat on most any werewolf movie.
Right. It was like Bigfoot movies. Right.
Yeah, we love them so much. Not so much the movie.
We love the monsters. Yeah, the idea of the monster. We think they're great monsters. They're very scary, actually. And
yes. But I just, gosh, what a disappointment those were for me. Just, I can't even say how, I can't even express how bad. You know what I mean? But
that's right. Terence H. Winkless. Darn you.
God bless him, though, for making at least writing one good one.
Right. So, anyway, I just thought I would do it. You you upset yourself too, didn't you? This week you steered yourself into, sometimes you talk about comic book movies. Sometimes I let them go on the show, and sometimes not. It is what it is. But you watched. What was the one you watched? The Spider-Man
Venom.
Venom, with Tom Hardy in it.
Yeah.
I mean. So you are very particular about your comic book movies. Me, I'm kind of tapped out on them. I like the old. I like looking at the old comic books. I thought for sure in this day and age they'd make comic book movies that I would enjoy. I think it's past me at this point. But you're still holding on for hope that you're going to see something.
A little bit, there's some of them out there that are good. Now this is the problem I think I had too is. They had Batman Begins was on, and I like that one a lot too. I think it's a really good movie, So I was watching bits and pieces of that, and then I went right into watching Venom, and it's just the difference is stark, And I'm not trying to kick Marvel because, like I've said before, Marvel has more of my favorite characters, more of my favorite villains and things. I just haven't had the love for the Marvel films near as much as DC. I think Marvel makes more action films and DC's more dramatic action films, I guess, maybe, or whatever. Anyways, but Tim, I am a big fan of Venom, especially from back in the days of the comics. It's hard to watch almost. It really was like, I don't know. I like Tom Hardy. He's okay. You know what I mean? But I just think this movie is, and it got some good reviews. And I was actually, before I even, Tim, I like to go see movies in the theaters, the ones that I like. I'm not going to go see Turner and Hooch or something like that. I want to go see something.
What's wrong with Turner and Hooch now? He's got shoestrings come out the side of his mouth with drool. Stop that.
Now leave him alone. What would they do to you? Right? But so I like to go to stuff, but I knew going in, I was like, this is not, I could tell already. And sure enough, after watching it, it's just a lot of wisecracking. It just doesn't, I don't know, Tim. Something about it, and the Venom, the character itself is a scary individual. And plus, like in the comics, the suit could turn into anything it wanted, if you wanted to have a certain outfit on, it would turn into that if you want, But, yeah, I don't know, Tim. It's. I mean, if you want like the more the action type superhero movies. It's good. It's more like that. But
well,
I
you're
just
kind
found-
of. It's kind of. You know, if you're not really paying attention, it's like, well, that's what comic books are, is kind of action things.
Yeah.
What you're saying is that there's something about character development, I think, that
Yes.
you're talking about, or character
Yes.
like traits and things that you really liked about
Yeah.
you know, about these characters that you're not getting in some of these comic books. And I think you feel like you might be. If you ask me,
I feel like I'm being cheated. Sort of.
well, you know what it kind of seems like to me is it kind of seems like the Marvel comics have the grittiness. This is from what you're saying more than me.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I'm articulating as like the Marvel comics have that grit and stuff that the DC movies have. And the DC comics have the goofiness where it's just kind of bubblegum weird, like comic booky kind of like almost like predictable action and stuff, and that's where the Marvel stuff is. Movies are.
Yeah.
So the comics and the movies almost have switched temperament.
A little bit, a little bit. You know, like, and I guess the thing is too, Tim, I got hooked on the graphic novel stuff, so that stuff's a little bit more intense, you know, and things like that. And I know I'm a big Batman nerd and things like that, but I just now, you know, the other day, I'll give you this too. They had the Suicide Squad on, and I've seen that, and I don't particularly like that one. And that's a DC, you know, and it's got some good characters in it. But to me, that was one that they tried to also make like a Marvel movie. You know what I mean? It's just these stupid little one-liners, and it doesn't really just. I don't know. I don't know, Tim. I like my movies to be gritty. I like my movies. I you know, like The Thing and stuff like that. I just like my movies more intense to where I'm on the edge of my seat. I'm not sure what's going to happen next, you know, and I don't wince and go, yeah, you know what I mean? So,
right.
And I mean, I wince when I'm like, God, no. But, you know, I don't want to wince the other way. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So,
I hear you.
But, I don't know. I knew I wasn't going to like it, but coming out of watching it, I hated it even more. I was like so disappointed because here's a character that to me, Venom is one of my favorite all-time characters in the comics. I love him. He was great when he first appeared, you know, and then how he was at that time. It was Spider-Man's ultimate villain.
Right.
It was
his arch enemy.
Worst, because he knew Spider-Man. He was stronger than Spider. Same kind of things. He could do the same things, you know, but he was stronger, meaner, and stuff. And it really. And then at that time, too, that's when Todd McFarlane was doing Spider-Man. So, you know, that for me, he's one of my favorite artists, you know, so all that, the combination of him and the story and stuff was just good, you know. I kind of wish some days, and they have to a certain extent, they seem to mix a lot of these together, like the stories from the comics, you know, a couple different stories from different issues and mix them together to make these movies, or just parts of them.
Right.
I'd rather just sometimes see a straight up version of the comic, but hey, Tim, these comics aren't very long, so you can't make a 2-hour movie out of a 30-page comic.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's hard. So.
You know, for me, I've realized this too, and I want to like him, but I don't. I don't like Tom Hardy. I want to like him, and I don't know why I don't like him. It's like, I know he's like, to me, I feel like he has been cursed with a handsome face. Because I don't think he's a leading, and I'm not being insulting by saying this. I'm actually a little bit being generous, but I don't think he's a leading guy. I think he's a character actor. I think he's an actor who needs to be in the supporting role. He needs to be in the role that really stands out in the movie, but not the lead guy. He's too I don't know. He's too thoughtful. He's too like he's again, I think he was cursed. He is not who he is not what his shell presents. It's not what his, you know, he looks really good. But then he's like, I don't know. And I don't think he has the there are great actors and movie stars.
Yes.
We would say that, and I mean, no disrespect by anybody. This is just us using an easy example of someone that we know fairly well. Danny Hicks, our good late friend, the great late Danny Hicks, would be an actor. Yes. He would be a character actor. He was of course, he was a handsome man. We only hang around with handsome guys because we need to have handsome ladies hanging around with us, right? So, but he was not a leading man movie star. That's not who he was. He was an actor. He played the supporting role, and he chopped his way through those roles, you know. Bruce Campbell, his pal, is a movie star.
Yes.
Okay. I'm not saying he can't act. I'm saying he's a movie star. You hire Bruce Campbell to be Bruce Campbell. You hire Harry Dean Stanton, like I've said before on the show. That's what he said, to be Harry Dean Stanton. You hired me. I'm not going to be Arnold Schwarzenegger. I'm a Harry Dean Stanton. It's not right.
Right,
so,
exactly.
Tom Hardy, on the other hand, looks like he's got some things that work for a leading man, but he just isn't one.
Right.
No matter if he has, no matter if he's handsome or not, he's just not. My opinion. I mean, people but he was Bane. Bane wore a mask, dude. Okay, Bane is exactly what I am talking about. That's exactly what I am talking about. When you put him as Mad Max, he is not Mel Gibson.
No. And I don't think he really... I don't know. It seemed like he was secondary in that movie.
I agree. Charlize Theron was the main person in that movie. I have no problem with the movie as itself, but you called it Mad Max. I'm like, it wasn't Mad Max. It was Mad Maxine.
Exactly.
And that's fine. But if that's what you want to make, I don't care. I mean, I have the Road Warrior in Mad Max. I hated Thunderdome. So by the time you got to Thunder Road, I don't care anymore, And if nothing they would have done, knowing me and knowing new movies, it doesn't matter what they would have done. I wouldn't have liked it. I get it. I understand that. But Tom Hardy himself is in other things that I don't have anything against. Like, he was in a gangster movie.
Yeah.
I can't remember which one it was. Was it Gangster Squad or something, or Gangster... Oh boy, Harley, I can't remember. It was like some brothers, and they were that has a Shia LaBeouf in it, and they were moonshiners.
Oh, okay.
And it was an interesting little story, and he played one of the brothers, and he was a troubled brother, and he was a tough guy brother, and that was like okay, but he was in an ensemble. Like he was one of the brothers. Like he was kind of the main brother, but he was one of the brothers. And Shia LaBeouf did his acting thing, and they all kind of did their thing, but he was quiet and brooding and stuff, and it worked for him. But I don't think he was really carrying that film.
No. Well, in this one, it's just a Venom one. It's where he acts really strange, and I can kind of understand, why he did in the movie, but the Venom character, like Eddie Brack, was just this big muscle meathead, and he was a jerk already. So it was like it just seemed to work better with the monster, or the symbionite, and it just seemed to work better like that instead of this one. He's kind of like not a bumbling idiot, but almost, and it's just like, oh man, I don't. No, it just didn't fit.
Is this the first time you've seen Venom then?
No, they had Venom. He was also in.
No. Is this the first time you've seen the movie?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you hadn't seen it since because I did see it. I saw it a while ago when it finally came out in video or whatever. So, and I was unimpressed, but that doesn't mean anything. It's kind of like me. Like, people are listening, and I'm criticizing Tom Hardy. You got to understand. Take it with a grain of salt. And Harley would tell you this. It's not. Yeah. There's really nobody burning up my dials here. There's nobody that's it's not too many newer actors or anything that I find interesting whatsoever. I'm very settled into waving my cane at squirrels in my front yard, thinking they're kids because I can't see anymore running across, So it's not, but when you take an old franchise or you take a familiar one. So I would say Venom would be familiar. I didn't read the comics, but I knew what it was. I saw if you see comic covers, you can follow comic books. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah, it's a testament to the people who make the covers for the comic books, but you can kind of follow what's going on in the world of the Avengers or the world of the X-Men. If you just look at the covers, you get what's kind of going on. So I knew what the Venom was. I knew it was some kind of rubbery kind of substance that formed into his suit and wouldn't let go and changed the personality. I get that, or took over.
It basically, it would kind of suck you. I mean, basically just use all your energy, use you up until it found another host. Yeah. But it was kind of a shame. I was just kind of disappointed. You know what I mean?
Right.
I didn't go in with real high expectations, and they were met. You know what I mean? So, what can you do?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Well, we got a few things in here.
The world's passed me by.
Oh, it's passed me by. Let me tell you something. I can't even see its rear view, or I can't see its taillights anymore. So I mean, it's way past me. It can't see me in the rearview mirror anymore. We'll put it that way. So.
No, right.
Well, let's go through.
Watch a couple things.
Yeah, a couple things here real quick. Want to get through till we get to our official film, which is kind of a proto Venom. The official film has
bit,
some
man.
has
Actually,
some
yeah.
taking over bodies and things like that. So let's get through some stuff here, Mr. Bun Harley.
All right, bud. Yeah.
Let's start off here. I went on another freak out.
Nice.
I have to report, I don't think I saw Richard Basehart once this week.
Oh, darn it.
He's playing with us, Mr. Ben Harley.
Yeah, he is. Yeah.
Playing.
Yeah.
So, let's see here. I did go on a freak out, though, with me and Angio did. And we went on a good one. We went on a Lance Henriksen freak out.
Nice. All right.
Yes, not on purpose. A freak out normally isn't on purpose.
No,
It's
and
an
that's
accident.
what's cool about it.
Yeah, it's an accident.
Yeah.
So the Lance Henriksen freak out we went on. We'll start from 1992. All right. Now here's a movie you probably haven't thought of for a very long time, but it was a pretty big release when it came out. We watched Jennifer 8.
Oh, okay.
Remember that thriller that came out back then? Yes. With Andy Garcia, Lance Henriksen, and a very young Uma Thurman.
Uma Thurman, yes.
Yes. And she has a bathtub scene that I think Harley has seared in his memory.
Yes, yeah.
Pretty sure.
I like the Uma
from
Thurman.
1992, right.
Yeah.
Not too bad. You know, that movie always kind of bothered me. It's way too long. It's like 2 hours and 10 minutes long, and it twists too much for its own good. You know?
Yeah.
It's like a 50s pop star. It's
Yeah.
going way too many
Twisting.
places. Yeah. And it really like milks some things like really hardcore. John Malkovich is in it. Also, good cast, real good cast and stuff. But
It's been a while since I've seen that one. Yeah.
Yeah, it was on Prime. I don't know if it was expiring or not, but so caught that. But then the other Lance Henriksen movie is one that I still think this movie might bother him just a little bit, but he was, if you recall, in The Terminator, and we watched the original Terminator.
Nice.
1984. Believe it or not, getting old, Mr. Ben Harley.
Yes. Yeah, no, Tim. Fine film, though. What a good movie. I love that movie.
Yeah, it is. And it's I
think it holds up pretty well for the most part.
It does. But it spurred a nice little conversation there when we were watching it, because I told Angio that not unlike First Blood, if you're like somebody who is a casual movie fan, you think of Rambo, you think of someone who has 6 guns in 2 hands.
Yes.
Who's shooting something out of his pelvis at the same time as that's like exposing bullets. Who has very well oiled up, muscles everywhere, blowing away an entire third world country of brown people. Okay?
Yes. Yeah.
But we don't remember that First Blood was a very thoughtful and hard to take hardcore drama. In a way, it did have some action-oriented sequences, but they were more desperate. They were more realistic in a way. You know, it's a very good movie.
Defensive stuff, not all offense. Where he's
exactly
trying to blow up a town or anything like that.
No, he was just trying to get away from some cops. That's it. Very small story. Yeah, or whatever. Well, then of course but people remember the Rambo stuff where he's freeing armies from other third world countries.
Fighting helicopters.
Punching out the blades while they're spinning. I know. Yes, exactly.
Right.
They're trying to behead him and the blades break. Yes, that's yes. But not First Blood. That was not First Blood. No. But people remembered that way. The Terminator. Yeah. Mr. Ben Harley.
Yes.
People remember T2. They remember Judgment
a lot of
Day.
People, which I didn't really care for a whole lot.
I hated
It's
that
okay.
movie.
I mean, it's okay. I just didn't. It didn't have the same effect, nowhere near as the first Terminator. Now, there was parts of it I do like. I can't take that away. I liked the gentleman who played the Terminator.
Robert Patrick.
Robert. Yeah, I like him. I liked his character. I even liked Schwarzenegger, and I didn't like little what's his face.
Edward.
Norton
Furlong.
or not Norton.
Edward Furlong.
Yeah. Not a fan of that guy. Not too much. I wasn't in the movie, but it's not the Terminator at all to me.
It's a way blown up action movie that was based on something that was smaller and more suspenseful and more tense, and it doesn't even resemble each other almost in a way. But the main problem I had was that the Terminator all of a sudden becomes a good guy. And then he has to fight another Terminator. Now, what do I can't stand when you take... No, Well, my point is, before I get too far,
Yeah.
I'm going to stop myself right there. I didn't like this about the Wolfman remake too. Remember, they got into a fight at the end, a superhero fight at the end, and then in Terminator 2 is basically a giant superhero fight between unstoppable cyborgs or whatever.
Yeah.
Terminator was not. The Terminator was a horror movie.
Yeah.
It was a science fiction horror film. It was slow, thought out, drawn out,
very gritty,
very gritty, low budget.
Yep. And I liked the story. I thought the story was awesome.
Yeah.
It was just a great story.
Yes, it made sense. The problem with time travel movies is by the second or third movie, you forget which way is what. Look, it's hard enough to edit this show in the space-time continuum. Trying to keep up with the Terminator timeline is, forget it. It's over.
Yeah.
You know, but it's kind of like trying to keep up with the twists and turns of the Saw movies. It's like, forget it.
Sure.
The Terminator itself is a good movie. It's not a fast-paced movie. Then Harley, it has stop motion in it.
Yes, it does. Yeah.
You know, like the cyborg at the end where he goes all robot toward the end or whatever. So, but it was closer to a Halloween film than it was an explosion film.
I think so too. I think it, like I love the pace of it.
Yeah.
I like all the acting in it. I just think it's a good, and it's scary at times too,
That's what I mean. It reminds me more of something like The Hitcher.
Yeah.
The unstoppable person just after you, and that's what it was. And it was so psychological, and stuff. And then you get to Terminator 2 and the rest of them, and they're just like goofy, big budget, like science fiction action movies. And it's what he did is what James Cameron did to Alien.
Yeah. Yep.
You see what I'm saying? Like they took all these movies that I love and they turned them into action movies to make more money to get more people in the seats.
Yes.
I feel that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I know that too with Alien, and it's hard for me because I like Aliens a lot.
I like it now more, than I did then.
But it's not nowhere near the same film. It's not as tense. I mean, it has some tense parts.
Yeah, it does. It does. I agree.
Not like the first one. The first one's straight up just a horror movie that made me sick to my stomach. Right. I'll never forget where I was at when I first saw it. I'll never forget the feeling it first gave me. How absolutely terrified of the alien I was. I mean, absolutely terrified. I'm like, you can't kill this thing. You just can't kill it. It won't die. You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of movies like that. I feel that way too. They just took them and blew them up bigger and larger. You know what I mean? But I can't say I like Terminator 2 nowhere near as much as I like Aliens, So, it shows you
right, and I think it shows you the difference. I don't want to say the difference in culture or something, but in a way, it shows you how from '84 to what was Terminator 2, like 91 or 92 or 90. I mean, it just shows you in this few short years like how it's blown up everything got. And I know Cameron was instrumental in getting CG and stuff going, and I can't say that's a good thing all the time, And I know Jurassic Park was and stuff too. And Harley, I just don't like things being used as a crutch.
No,
And I'm not saying that there wasn't crutches in Hollywood and filmmaking before CG, but at least the crutches usually were some object or something you can hold in your hand.
Yes.
There was something that were there. It's just. But it is what it is. I mean, I'm not changing the world. But, I mean, the Terminator to me it's kind of like First Blood. I wish people would go back and watch those first movies.
Yes.
They're so different.
First Blood is such a great movie. I just love that movie. It's one of those that when it's on, I stop and watch it, and I can tell, too, a lot of these movies, if they're on TV and I come across them and I'm like, no. Right. Now, Terminator 2 is one of those I'm like, no thanks, and I just keep going.
Right.
No, Terminator, no, I stop. I'm like, I got to watch a little bit of this, and depending on how far along it is in the movie or what have you.
Sure. It was kind of fun to go back and see it though, and some of the effects are quaint, which actually makes it fun.
Yeah.
Some of the where he's pulling things out of his head and his eye, and it's like a rubber head.
Yeah.
It's trying. You kind of forgive it because he's already a robot, so it's already supposed to be fake. It's stuff,
artificial.
Right. So, well, let's move on, Mr. Ben Harley, from 1977. I think you're going to like this movie. And I think it's on Prime. Maybe you should even check this out, okay?
Okay.
This is a movie starring Robert Lansing, also from The Nest. This was the dad from The Nest, all right? And also he's from Empire of the Ants and all that. This movie, again from 1977, is called Scalpel.
Okay.
And it's about kind of a crazy plastic surgeon guy who is left... There's a reading in the will thing going on, which always kind of gets me going to begin with, okay?
Oh, yeah.
And so Robert Lansing's daughter has run away, okay? She's missing. She hasn't been seen for a long time. And his father, I guess, or whatever, her grandfather or whatever, dies and leaves all the money to her. And she's gone. And Robert Lansing is a plastic surgeon. So he finds an injured woman who is about the same size as his daughter. What do you think, Mr. Ben Harley, the nefarious Robert Lansing is going to do?
Oh, jeez, yeah.
So, and then what do you think might happen at the funeral of said patriarch who left the money? The real daughter starts coming back. So we have two people who look exactly the same, who act differently.
Wow.
All around Robert Lansing. Yeah, so this is a drive you crazy psychological type of deal, and you love that crap. So
yes, I like that. Yeah,
sure do. So.
Yes,
fun.
I do,
It's like one of those no body count psychological spook shows. You know what I mean? There's not like there's not like a carnage or anything, but it gets under your skin a little bit. Like and you got a dad who's a plastic surgeon who makes someone who looks just like his daughter and then starts having an affair with her.
Oh, wow.
You're gonna be like, you're gonna squirm your chair a little bit. Like, man, I don't know. And he acts very strange with them. Of course, this all kind of unravels, and stuff. But still, again, 1977 on Amazon Prime, Scalpel. So maybe I whet your appetite for that one a little bit there.
Okay, yeah.
Let's see, a couple more real quick, Mr. Ben Harley. Then we'll get to our official little film from 1940.
Okay.
What's 1940? I don't know, but it's right back in my wheelhouse, right?
It's right in your wheelhouse.
And I think me and you reviewed this not super, super long ago. With Boris Karloff in it, we watched The Ape.
Oh, yeah.
Where he runs around murdering people in an ape costume.
Yeah.
To this day, Harley, I watched that movie going, I don't think that was the real end. I just think they looked at the movie and said, there's no way, this ape is so bad. There's no way even people have never seen an ape are going to believe it's a real creature. So we better have a Scooby-Doo, unmasking at the end, or something.
Yeah. Oh, my goodness.
Boy, it's an hour long. It's Boris Karloff, doing his thing for an hour, One thing I will say I noticed watching this, though, is that it's so interesting to see the parallel. I'm not saying they are parallel, but watching parallel the careers of Boris Karloff and Bela Lugosi, the two old grandmasters of horror, And I still think that the Lugosi just made such a huge mistake with the Frankenstein monster, and Boris Karloff embraced it. And I think if you look at the two men, you could say one guy made all the right decisions comparatively. And one guy made some boneheaded decisions. And you don't know until the decisions have been made and long gone, whether or not they were right or not. But history has shown, I think. Even the reason I thought this was because, look, 1940 The Ape is a poverty row, cheapy movie. Okay? Yeah. But Karloff picked him better. He picked his cheapy, poopy movies way better than Lugosi did. You didn't see Karloff getting in a lot of nudity wrestling fights with rubber bats bouncing off his forehead.
No, no.
He did make some pretty crappy Mexican movies in the 60s and stuff, but the guy couldn't even walk anymore. He needed to eat, so leave him alone. Yeah, I'm talking about when he could. But it was a little fun watching that. But now here's what I've been saving for you, Mr. Ben Harley, because
thank you. Yeah.
This is something from our youth. This is a movie that everybody liked. Everybody knows this movie. Everybody liked it. This was a movie that made the world smile and laugh. And boy, couldn't we use that these days.
We sure could.
From 1976. What else is from 1976?
Angie?
That's right. Angio's from that. She is a bicentennial
Angio.
baby. She's a bicentennial baby. So we watched Silver Streak.
Ooh, nice.
Now, am I right about that? Everybody, when Silver Streak came on television, network television, it was an event.
Yes.
Wasn't it?
Yes.
And it came on every now and then, but it was an
Yep.
event. Boy, did they sell some advertising for that when they played it.
Oh, boy, yeah.
Also,
love that movie.
Yes. Also, the first
that.
on-screen pairing of Richard Pryor and Gene Wilder.
And they were just such a good team together, you know. And what's kind of funny is I think a lot of people, me included, thought, they're probably buddies outside of it. But I don't know that they really were.
Right, right.
It's not that they didn't like each other or anything like that. It's just like, they were just two different people. You know what I mean?
I think that's what works so well in the movies, though, too. And I don't disagree with what you're saying. I get the sense there was a lot of tenderness between them and a lot of care and stuff. But there are those people who you are just not the people you want to have a drink with. It's just not who they are. You don't socialize outside of work with some people, even though you enjoy working with them, and the results are undeniable. Undeniable.
Them two were just the way they worked together, and I just watched Stir Crazy recently.
That's great. We did too. It's just a great movie.
Man, they're just so funny together, and they worked off each other so well, and it's funny that Gene Wilder was kind of the straight man, a little bit too, but it seemed like Richard Pryor was always trying to pull him out of some kind of trouble, that he didn't mean to get into, or it just happened to,
Well, I think the brilliance more is that he was straight, sort of, but not really, because he was more of a bubble guy. He lived in a bubble, and everything that happened around him went through his filter, and that's just how it was.
Yeah.
Somebody was holding a gun. Somebody would be holding a gun on him, and Gene Wilder would say, "Oh no, I don't need a gun. How much is it though?" He wouldn't get it, and that's what's funny. And Richard Pryor would be going, "He's trying to hold you up. He's trying to mug you." That was. There's always comedy there. There's always comedy in that. And Richard Pryor, they were so different. I think it made people feel good too, because I think people like seeing everyone get along and doing this and stuff, and we need a lot more of that too. It's monkey see, monkey do, right? I mean, so it really, it was such a pleasure to sit down and watch that movie, and it's a good movie.
As I say, it's got a pretty good storyline to it too, and it's a good movie. And man, when that train comes at the end, you're like, oh my god, it's just it's got a little bit of everything in that movie. I think.
It's even got Jaws in it. It's even got Richard Keel with some. I think he's got some braces or something on. It's got it's got Patrick McGowan, who was the evil scientist in Scanners, and he was the prisoner. He was a prisoner for crying out loud. It has Ray Walston's in it.
Okay.
Ned Beatty.
Ned Beatty
is in it.
Oh, I like Ned Beatty.
Oh, I do too. I do too. Scatman Crothers is in it.
Man.
He plays the guy that works on the train or whatever.
That's right.
So of course he's looking at like they're idiots, which I love. I still love that. The guy that has like the menial job. It's like, but he knows these people that they're on the train. These dumb people. Come on. So, but anyway, it was such a pleasure to watch and to go back and to see these movies. And it's funny because like you said, simpler time. Well, if you're looking at it from today, it was simpler. If you're looking at it from then, there was a lot of horse crap going on too, and stuff. The world's never been an easy place, but no. But entertainment, I think I value a lot more from back then. I think it was giving you escapism and giving you a little bit of a break from life's worries a little bit,
Yeah. And that's what I like about those movies. You're exactly right. They're their escapism. And when I watch them, I feel different. I don't, I'm not looking at my watch. You're like, boy, when's this going to be over? Or just wincing. It's just, it is. It took you on an adventure, what I mean? And I don't know. Maybe I'm just a little more nostalgic for that type of stuff. But I think they were written better and done better.
Well, it is nostalgic. And I think we do think they were done better, but that's our age. That's how it is, I mean, and Again, I'm going to reference him again, our good old friend Danny Hicks, who's still sitting in that metal chair behind me, although he's see-through right now, but I know he's back there. But I'm just saying, we would always talk about Carpenter's The Thing, one of our favorite films of all time. And most of our friends, I mean, that's a hard one not to like. You know what I mean? So everyone loves that movie, and he loved the original, and that's fine. I do too. Yeah. He didn't like Carpenter's.
It is good.
And it's his age. That's his age, man.
Yes.
Exactly. Yeah. You know, the original one scared the crap out of him when he was a kid. Like Carpenter scared the crap out of us.
Out of us. Yeah.
And our kids could watch the thing now and maybe enjoy it, but they're probably going to sleep fine. They're probably not going to get that scared, you know. So
oh boy, it sure scared me.
It sure scared me too. When I saw it the first time, man. But then again, the Funhouse scared the hell out of me too. So
whatever it is, it's angry and it's pissed off.
That's right. That's right. So, all right, let's get to our official little film, Mr. Ben Harley. Let's see here from 1958. We have the film "I Married a Monster from Outer Space." AKA the Angio story.
Poor Angio.
All right, okay. I'm gonna just make you happy this week. I'm just gonna get out movie guy, and I'm gonna give you like a real short couple sentence here story synopsis via movie guy. He's back for "I Married a Monster from Outer Space." All right.
Okay.
Aliens arrive on Earth to possess the bodies of humans. One of their first victims is a young man whose new wife soon realizes something is wrong with him. All right. I'm going to make this real simple here because this movie to me is a cross between It Came from Outer Space meets Invasion of the Body Snatchers.
Yeah, there you go.
Yes. It's hard to go much further than that. I mean, basically, you start off and you have clearly a bunch of young men who have all been getting married, like the group of friends, and they're all getting married and stuff. So then we have Bill, the main guy in the movie, and he's the next to get on the chopping block to get married. Well, he even leaves his bachelor party a little early because he doesn't want to get too cooked. And he starts going home, and I think he's even going to stop by and say hi to his fiancée before he goes home. And when you know it, he almost runs into one of the worst dummies whose arm is literally flapping, I think, in a breeze. Now, I don't know how much this dummy weighed, Mr. Ben Harley, but I'm pretty sure that was a set. I don't know where that wind was coming from that was blowing the arm, but anyway. He basically thinks there's someone laying in the road. It's not. And he
pulls over to save him. Or see what it is.
See what it is. And then he gets overtaken by an alien. A monster from outer space.
Yeah. An arm comes out of the side of the screen, and grabs him, and then
Right.
Then he's a whole different person now, Tim.
That is true.
He's not the Bill that we know anymore.
No. Now, here's the thing, though. I got to tell you something. This isn't really my cup of tea, okay? But I like how this movie establishes the difference in personality and stuff with the characters when they turn all monster spacey. I really do. Because you start the first time that the fiance played by that's Marge. Her name's Marge. Played by Gloria Talbot, who we've seen in lots of movies. Everything. She's on Perry Mason sometimes, and there's Gloria Talbot. She's in tons of stuff. So it's their wedding day, and he's late. He's late for the wedding, and he comes in, and he's not himself anymore.
No. Now you can tell right away too when he comes in.
Right,
he's just a totally different, stoic or whatever, I guess. Or know,
he's not there. He's kind of like glazed over a little bit. And you can tell he's like a babe in the woods kind of thing. Especially when they're on their honeymoon and he is standing on the porch and there is a thunder crack and he goes, "Oh, what was that?"
What is that? Yeah,
and she said, "Why, that's thunder." Hello. Isn't that
something's wrong with Bill? I'd be like, something's wrong with that guy already. Because I know there's kind of a point where they're actually on their way to the honeymoon and they almost get into an accident and he didn't have the lights in the car on.
Right,
like,
right.
Yeah, you idiot, and she said, yeah, you forgot to have the lights on. He's like, oh, and he's like reaching the wrong side of the car to find the lights, and he has no idea. Like, yeah, then like you said, then it goes to the actual honeymoon, and
right.
Boy, I wish I had a girl. Even on my honeymoon, wish I had a girl throwing herself at me like that.
Right.
And he doesn't even know what to do with that. She's just, So
no, I think a lot of guys in the audience are going, "You need help?
Yeah,
Let me show you what to do."
Yeah. So it does establish big time that he's not there, and she starts to right away write notes. He's not the man that I love, and he's like a different person. Like, oh boy.
Well, and also in 1958 fashion, people are found out because they quit drinking. Only weird commie bastards quit drinking. Why don't you drink anymore,
you're not
Bill?
smoking cigarettes either?
You don't smoke or drink anymore, Bill. Are you not American anymore? What the hell is wrong with you? Right. There is a half dozen of these aliens who come down, who take over about a half dozen humans. And they just happen to be a group of friends, more or less, or at least some of them. Right. I think there's a couple cops and stuff, and then there's So there's
even the Western Union guy's taken over, but he tries to send out a message to the FBI,
right?
And he tears it up, and she sees it go down, and she's like, "Wait, something else is going on." So it's almost like you really don't know at this point who's who. No. In the movie, which is kind of good too. You know what I mean?
I actually find it kind of convenient that everyone who really needs to be monster from outer space out at that moment is like the guy from Western Union, because there's only a few. Yeah. There's only a few of them that this isn't like an invasion of 3 million aliens taking over everyone. It's just a few of them taking over town, and they're kind of scouting and they're testing the waters because, very interestingly, apparently they live from the Andromeda constellation. I always thought Andromeda was a galaxy, but I'm not a cosmologist, so I don't know these things. So, but they come,
or a cosmetologist,
right? But they come from there, and apparently their sun, has been swelling up, and the sun's rays on their planet are killing off their species. And it happened to kill the women first while they were trying to get off the planet. This is what they explained. Yeah. This is what he explained.
And these are handsome creatures too.
Let me tell you, they look like they look like roadies for the Allman Brothers.
Right, yeah.
So
after the tour,
no offense, aliens.
Yeah.
After the tour, before they got back to the barber, right?
Yeah,
a little hairy.
Yeah.
When you hear the Bigfoot stories, it was covered from hair from head to toe. How do you know? Anyway, anyway, so they made their way. There was one. The story is really silly, but there was one part I found kind of poignant because they said, "Well, we came here basically to see if our women were compatible to mate." So they can propagate their species again or whatever. From their point of view, okay. I mean, it's rational, I guess.
They're much prettier. I must say.
Well, right. But the thing that I found interesting was why here. And the guy said, you'd be surprised how rare life is. Yeah. And stuff. And I thought that was a nice little moment. I thought there was it kind of went from camp to that was kind of a cool little.
Yeah.
A cool little thing. And the other thing too is that this movie's a little different where if you get Invasion of Body Snatchers, it's like a zombie movie. People just aren't there anymore. Not in this movie. These monsters, supposedly from outer space, they're not fully evil.
No.
They wouldn't be here if they didn't feel like they had to be here.
Yes,
in a way. Not making them good guys, but they do have some pathos to them completely because they start feeling human emotions and they start feeling tender thoughts for their companion, for their wives and things like that,
Yes, yeah. And this, Tim, I say this movie to me reminds me somewhat of a soap opera. It has some soap opera tendencies to it, Which, I mean, not bad stuff, not over the top, things, but it just has a lot of scenes between them two, the husband and wife, or Bill and
Marge.
Marge. But you're right, though. He after a while, he seems to start to kind of be a little bit nicer or more caring. And then, yeah, like you say, he tells the story to her, you know.
Well, you kind of think it's a very interesting thing because you kind of think, well, he's Bill. He's coming through. He's fighting off being taken over, but that's not how it works. Mm-mm. This is completely the alien with a fake facade over it. So it's just a shell. So it's actually the alien who's starting to feel, because they do have a conversation, you know, do you feel love? And stuff. And they said, no.
I'm learning how to love. Or
yes. Yeah. So you're almost, I wouldn't say you're rooting for a romance here, but it's a real clever way to feel a little bit for the aliens.
Yes.
Because you look at it realizing, wait a minute, this guy does not want to hurt her. He wants to make babies and he wants to do weird things to our species, but he doesn't necessarily want to commit acts of violence. I mean, on her or nothing. Like he's not here just to kill us all, you know, and suck our brains out or something like that. It's got nothing to do with that at all. In that respect, there's a lot of this that also reminds me of It Came from Outer Space, where you spend the whole movie thinking that people are getting slaughtered and killed, and they're not. Yeah, they're just they're temporarily gone. Now in this movie, it's sort of the same thing.
Yes.
Where the original people are being held somewhere, and their life force is what is powering the disguise. That was powering the disguise.
Yes.
So something about, you know, it's a Bigfoot vibration thing. Something about their life force. I don't know. I can't explain it. I didn't come from Planet Harry guy or whatever. But I'm just saying. So there's a lot of interesting stuff here that isn't all slice and dice. It isn't all these aliens need to be destroyed now, even though they kind of do need to be destroyed too. But they're just looking out for their own, like we're looking out for ours. And I think what's interesting is that toward even in the end of the film, the aliens know that. They don't put up much of a fight. When they're found out, they just say, we need to move on.
Yep.
I find that interesting.
Harley. And B. And B.
Yeah, I find it interesting.
Yeah. Now, Tim, I'll tell you one thing I liked in this movie, too, is like when the aliens attack a human, it's like this fog, kind of. And it's awesome. I mean, it's so effective. It's like, this fog creeps up over the body, and then also the body just kind of disappears. Mm-hmm. But it looks so good. Yeah, it looks so good in black and white. I mean, to me, that was more scarier than the actual alien. Mm-hmm. You know, it just looks so good, and I mean, I was so impressed with it. I mean, I know it's simple or whatever, but it just looks so good. Maybe
it worked. It worked well.
About 4 or 5 times in the movie. But to me, that was like one of the most effective parts of the movie, you know. Right.
It was spooky. I think the aliens actually were pretty good. I think they were kind of unique. The hairy thing was kind of goofy. You got to look at this from 1958, though. I mean, the Beatles had long hair. You know, I mean, so you
that makes it dangerous.
Yeah, right. Well, I don't even know if the Beatles were around in 58, but anyway.
Right.
But I think they look good. I mean, I think that they, for what they were for that time, they were unique. Most aliens looked like lizard guys or looked like big plastic heads and stuff. Now, these were a little different. Sure. And you're right. The fog is like something, it's like a mysterious, like almost ethereal kind of fog, and it's real thick. Yeah. And it goes, and the way that the actors contort themselves, Peter Cushing style, is disconcerting as well. Yeah. And the thing is, Harley, it's almost like somebody wrote this maybe thinking it was going to be more of a Poverty Row, maybe like a little more of a cheaper thing, but I think this was played straight, which is always good. It's played straight, and the acting is really good in this, like really good, and you get compelled and roped into the story. The Bill, boy, he's great in it.
Oh yeah, he is. He plays like such a, I don't know, man. He's just very robotic and outer worldly. He does like that.
But when it's time for him to show emotion, he does it perfect. Yeah. And when it's time for him to show the conflict that he's having as an alien, it's perfect. Yeah. In the beginning, when they show him before he gets possessed, he's a totally different guy.
Yes. Yeah. And he's just scary looking too.
He's kind of creepy. He's
like the guy from the People Under the Stairs.
Yeah, he looks like Everett McGill. a little
Yeah.
bit. Yeah.
And that's scary to me, just period.
He's a quirky looking
Yes.
gentleman, that's for sure.
Yeah. Love him.
Right. Well, here's something cool too. This movie was directed by Gene Fowler Jr. All right. Now he's primarily an editor, which is a good thing, by the way. Editors make really good directors, and a lot of editors have become great directors and stuff too. But he directed I Was a Teenage Werewolf.
Okay.
So he's made good movies. I mean, so he hasn't done a whole lot of directing, mostly editing, like I said, but good movie. I mean, good movie, and the thing is, too, is this to me is in that pantheon of silly titled, really good movies. It Came from Outer Space, I mentioned. Good example of that. Invasion of the Body Snatchers. Good movie. Yep. The one thing that I have a little issue with, and I wonder about, is we always hear today that movies like this and Invasion of the Body Snatchers were sort of metaphorical for like the Red Scare, they called it, the Communist Scare. I wonder if that is as much people attaching their current affairs fears from that time to that film more so than the film trying to say that. Does that make sense?
I didn't really, because I don't really feel like that much in this one. This movie at all. I just didn't feel like it.
It's not it's definitely not as prevalent. But if I start thinking about the Body Snatchers as well,
sure,
I don't think that either. I really do. I mean, maybe I'm wrong, and maybe that these filmmakers meant it, but I still think that what happens sometimes is that society has certain hot button issues at the moment, and we do now, and we always have. Yes. And when something comes out that presses those buttons, whether or not intentional, we attach why it pressed our buttons to that film as if it was on purpose.
Sure. Yeah.
Is that accurate or clear? Like, is that making sense?
Yeah, definitely, buddy. And because I think that happens a lot, and it's nice to actually, when you're not, we're not dealing with the. Well, maybe we are dealing with the Red Scare still. I don't know.
But who knows anymore? I just quit paying attention. It doesn't matter. I'm being boring. Yeah. But no, you know what I mean, though? It's kind of like, because, we did see, like I told you, I saw some documentary that was attaching some racial components to movies like Creature from the Black Lagoon. And I started, I'm like, no, there's not. That's a fish man. No. Are you kidding me? And I started thinking about it, it's like, but maybe it's people attaching our hot button issues of the moment to something they're seeing, and it's almost like it's your obsession, not the movies, that you're attaching to it. And it made me think. So although today is today, and that today's world has nothing to do with us, I don't even understand it. But from '58, I look at this, and I've always read, and I've always seen, and I bought into that this was. These movies were made to basically fan the Red Scare. It was made because I don't know if they were made because of that. I just wonder if the process of being invaded just happened to press those buttons at the right time in history.
Sure. Now that sounds a little plausible, like that.
Yeah.
Just sort of invasion,
Right. So. Right. It's just something I think about sometimes because I get irritable when movies I love get things attached to them that I don't think they deserve or I don't think they should have. And sometimes what I mean by that is I don't mean this movie is such my baby, it doesn't deserve to be treated this way. I mean, no, this movie's a dumb little horror movie. It doesn't deserve to have all this pretext to it, all this metaphors attached to it. It's a silly popcorn movie. You're attaching that to it. It's just worth thinking about sometimes that maybe we're attaching our neuroses. As a society today onto things that didn't have those things back then. Just something to think about. I don't know.
No, I think that's definitely plausible too. Definitely. It's funny in this movie too, Tim. The way that it ends, though, I did not see that coming with the dogs. Okay,
so that's funny. So you want to hear? So the dogs in the movie. I love German Shepherds. I'm a dog guy. Okay, so I love German Shepherds. So right away, I'm happy because we have German Shepherds in this movie. So at the end of the movie, so how do you figure out who is being taken over and who hasn't? Well, the doctor has a good idea. The dudes that aren't shooting blanks.
Yes.
So by the end of the movie, they figure out, okay, whoever's not shooting blanks has their wife in the maternity ward, right? Yeah. So they're having kids. So we know these people are probably still human. So they get all these people together with dogs. It all comes together tied up in a neat bow. The dogs are German Shepherd. They are chasing down the aliens at the end. Okay.
Yeah.
And the dogs attack the aliens.
Yeah, as the people are running in fear because they're shooting the aliens, and these aliens are just absorbing the bullets. Their bodies.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. So as the people are running away, they're like, "Oh wait, my dogs!" And the dog's like, one sneaky, he actually sneaks up like on his belly.
Does an army crawl. Yeah.
Yep, it's awesome. And then attacks one of the aliens and tears like this little thing off his face, which I don't know,
right,
how it works. I don't know their exact.
Sure. Well, here's what's funny about that. So apparently, when they were filming it, the dogs were terrified of those costumes. They're big, hairy things. They look like two-legged dogs, So they're like, no, forget you. I'm not going after these things. Yeah. So they acclimated the dogs to the actors in the suits, and then they try to shoot it again. And you see some of this, like, left in there. Well, then the dogs, they jumped the guys and wanted to play and lick them and have fun. And, so they shot this, and the dogs are playing with them. Basically, they're not attacking them. So then they had to redo it again, and they had to train the dogs to attack that unmentionable thing coming off their face.
Yes, yeah.
They have a tube-like structure. Yeah, we'll call it a nose. That's fine. Coming off their face. And the dogs were trained again to attack just those things. And if you watch the actors, instead of having their hands pushing the dogs away, they're pulling the dogs toward them.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Right. So that's a pretty good little moment. But, the end of it doesn't cheat. When the aliens get it, they turn into like a goo.
Like a blob-like substance that just kind of fizzes out. It's weird,
Right. The way that they rescue the people who were taken over, that's a little convenient.
Yeah.
But it's different when they go into, like, they find, so the angry villagers, the people that are running around the dogs, they find the spaceship, it's been hidden out in the woods.
Yeah.
And they go in there, and that's a little disconcerting. You don't expect to see what you see when they go in there, because all of the people, the original humans that were taken over by the aliens, are basically hanging like an Ed Gein's barn.
Yes, right.
On some ropes, just kind of dangling, and they look pretty creepy.
Yes.
To be frank with
you. And they're like you said, there's a device that they're hanging over top of that helps the disguise of aliens.
It's basically beaming the disguise out via radio transmission. So they're hanging over devices that are broadcasting their essence to the aliens to keep them in disguise.
And then once you unplug that device, then the aliens die.
Yes. Yep. Exactly. And the people are okay. And it's all.
And Bill comes back. The real Bill comes back.
The real Bill does come back, and so does the. Of course, there is the one moment where they're like, "Well, how do you know if you pull it out, you won't kill the person?"
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. Pop that sucker out and see what happens. Well, that's one way, but let's not do it to Bill. Let's do it to the secondary character first and see if he dies, So, but, look, this was I think it's a nifty movie. It definitely, we can probably agree that it does play off of a certain paranoia in society at the time. But this time, with the body snatchers, you had some cool effects with the pod people growing. But this, to me, there's something special about it having legit monsters.
Yes,
They're goofy looking, but they're legit monsters. And that's cooler than just people walking around giving googly eyes.
Exactly.
That's kind of cool. And I don't, even though most of the movie is googly eyes, it's done really, really well, surprisingly well.
No, I think they did a great job on this one as far as the way they played it. Like you said, played it straight.
Right.
There wasn't too much goofy stuff going on.
No.
A few things, here and there, but nothing. I think they really tried with this film. And I just think the way that the aliens are played too, and especially Bill's character, very, very cold.
Aloof, very aloof.
And I think it really helped this film a lot.
Right. And he plays it so close to a human because you can tell he's kind of becoming more human-like because of the emotions, because he says that we picked up some of the traits of humans because we're being broadcast human whatever frequencies or whatever the hell, and so we're picking up on some of those emotions that his species doesn't have.
Right.
This is cool. It's just, and it doesn't necessarily sound like it would work, but it does.
Right.
It works well.
Exactly.
Works very well. I'm going to give this movie a big, great ape up. I actually really, really like this movie. And I'd seen it when I was a kid, and it was okay. But then I saw it, I don't know, like maybe 5 years ago, 10 years ago, and was just blown away by how good it was compared to what I thought it was.
Sure. Yeah, I think, just the title alone, I think it's way better than the title would suggest. And it's way better than I expected. And I did enjoy it. So I'm going to give it a big, great ape up as well.
Yeah. So that's,
because
it
it was just good, man. It was just good. You know what I mean? Like, and played, if they wouldn't have played it straight, it wouldn't have been near as good.
No, the drama's good. The drama works.
Yeah.
And I don't like a lot of drama. You know that. It's like, but this was there was a little bit about the people and stuff, but I just liked the way it unfolded. I liked how of course, as in all of these movies, the Gloria Talbot character, Marge, the wife, she goes for help. And who is she going to get help from? Are they possessed too, or are they not? You don't know. Yeah. And the way that kind of plays out is very straightforward as well. And it's done in a way where, like, she goes and talks to a doctor. He believes her.
Yes.
And that's interesting too. People believing each other, actually, that they're saying something. And it's just refreshing in a way, and it's interesting. And what he does about it is kind of funny, though. That's when you find out. It's like, well, how do we find out who's a human? And all of a sudden, a guy walks in with cigars and stuff, going, "I've got a little boy at home." Like, I know how we're gonna find who are the men who drink, smoke, and have sex. Oh, that's an American right there for me. So, but it's cool. It's fun, and he's right. He's kind of right, So, good times, good movie. Enjoyed it much better than you would think it would be. Not unlike other movies like that, though. It came from outer space and stuff. I think this is better. I really do. I think it's very good, and I think the monsters are good when they show them.
Yeah. I actually thought it was funny how the dogs. Not funny, but it was good. That was a good part. I didn't expect it. I did not see that coming. And how the dogs saved the day.
Well, there's a little bit. It's a little rough too because Bill kills a dog. Straight up. I mean, just kills it because it doesn't like him. And
a cute little puppy too.
Yeah, I like big dogs. So, so anyway, all right, let's get out of here, Mr. Ben Harley. So two big great babes up for I Married a Monster from Outer Space. I don't know what we're doing next week, Mr. Ben Harley, but I imagine it might be single.
Yes,
it might not be married to anything at all. So we'll have to see, though. We'll see. We'll
that's right.
We'll see what happens. So all right. Well, until next week, folks. All you deep thinkers out there, be safe, be good to each other. We'll be back here next week. So stay spooky, and we'll talk to you then.
Keep it creepy, people.
You've been listening to the Tim Owen Harley Show, brought to you by ScreenPrintingFactory.com, your affordable one-stop solution to all your screen printing needs.